Leo, Sun, Moon and Rising, here is your tarot reading for the week ahead. As ever, please take what's helpful, leave what isn't. This is only ever meant to be guidance for the energies for the week ahead, what to expect, possibilities, opportunities and likelihoods for you. So always get the messages to fit into your life and never get your life to fit around the messages. We start here with the Ten of Swords, the Lord of Ruin. Can sometimes be quite an intimidating card, I'm aware. Lots of black and these swords shoved into the back of somebody's spine. But in this instance, sorry, that sounded a bit aggressive there, but in this instance, I'm not actually too concerned. I'm not too worried because the Ten of Swords in many ways talks about abrupt endings. You may find there are things that have been circulating for a while, that have been hanging around a while and suddenly just come to a close. In some instances, that might be a bit of a relief. In some instances, that might be a bit shocking. But the image that's coming to mind is a bit like a balloon being popped. So I don't necessarily have the sense that this is going to be your bubble being burst, that this joyous occasion is suddenly coming to a close and an end and an abrupt. That's not so much it. It's more just those things that have been swelling for a while, those tensions that have been rising for a while just seem to suddenly clear. And that in some ways can leave us a little unsure of ourselves and what to do next. And it's like, oh, where's everything? Why is that no longer a drama? Why is that no longer such a great concern? This was such a central theme in my life for a while, and then suddenly, almost like the flick of a switch, it's just suddenly gone. And that can sometimes be a little disconcerting, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse next. So this sense of the Queen of Swords, usually when she's upright, she's very discerning. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's got a plan. She knows how to action it. It's all about the mind and the clarity and the sharpness of mind. Sometimes to her detriment, she can be a bit off with her head. The fact that this is in reverse talks about you may find yourself after that's what's the word? The calm after the storm, so to speak, or after the dust has settled, there's a sense of, oh, I don't quite know what I'm meant to be doing anymore. You may feel a little bit like the rug has been pulled underneath your feet. I don't feel that that is in a calamitous way by any means. This is actually probably going to be a bit of a blessing in the long term. You're going to think, oh, actually, that I'm really, really pleased. But it's just the fact that it's been occupying perhaps so much of your attention, focus, your mind, and then suddenly it's just evaporated, could leave you feeling a little short, because you've put plans into action, you've been making strategic moves, you've been, what's the words that I'm looking for? It's like when you account for every eventuality. It's like, okay, if this happens, then that happens, and that happens. And then it almost just gets like a vacuum. And then we're slightly left wondering, okay, what is next? We have the Five of Swords, the Lord of Conflict. The fact that we've got the Ten of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and then the Five of Swords. Swords is the air. It's about the mind. It's about thought processes, discernment, wisdom, ideas. Interestingly enough, the more cups you have and the more pentacles you have, the better, because we have more happiness and more abundance and more wealth. With the swords and the wands, the more you have, the more pressure it can happen. And with the Ten of Swords, you can think, okay, we've got as much air as there possibly is, so it starts to feel a little bit like a pressure cooker. It starts to feel very kind of tight. And you may find that this week it's almost like the lid has been taken off that pressure, so it evaporates. And ironically, you would kind of assume, oh, thank goodness, that's the weight off the world of my shoulders. But instead, you might find, oh, I don't know what I'm so used to that kind of pressure, or I'm so used to having to think about all of these things. I don't quite know what else I'm meant to be doing. So instead of seeing it as perhaps a blessing, it's actually a bit of a shock. I feel that this Five of Swords is more of a conflict of your own mind rather than conflict within other people. The only caveat I would say to that is there have been, in many, many of the other zodiac readings, there have been about emotional imbalances or disagreements with other people. So you may be just feeling the aftermath or the knock-on effect of that, but I don't get the sense you'll be directly involved. I feel that this is more of a war of a mind and the kind of slightly chaotic mind. What is required this week is represented with the Emperor: structure, order, stability, groundedness. What are you doing to reconnect with this Queen of Swords? The quicker you are able to recenter, reground, find your balance again, and then go, okay, that slightly that hasn't come to fruition in the way that we expected, or it's suddenly been kind of this bubble suddenly been burst. What do I need to do next? The quicker that you're able to kind of bring things, how do I want to describe this? It's a little bit like a Jenga tower. If you take the thing at the bottom one down and it collapses, the quicker you are able to build that back up again, the better. It's not a time for dilly-dallying. It's not a time for, oh, the more that you're in this place of a lack of clarity, just wandering around, what should I do next, the less prepared you are. So whatever you can do this week in order to, and that may just involve pulling out your calendar, restructuring it, stabilizing your routine. Whatever you can do that is around planning, around organization, is going to be really, really beneficial. For me personally, I've been working a lot on my routine, trying to kind of sharpen up my routine. On Monday I do this, Tuesday I do this, and that's helping me bring back a sense of control. And that's perfectly represented in the Chariot card in reverse. The Chariot card in this way can be lots of different energies being pulled in many, many different directions. The fact it's reversed can indicate one of two things. It could show a complete sense of overwhelm, as represented in the Queen of Swords and the Five of Swords as well. So you might just feel like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. I don't know even where to begin. That's why embodying that very grounded energy of the Emperor will really, really help. It's no good at getting overwhelmed by everything, the mass of stuff that needs to be get done. Even if you've got to start somewhere, right? And just starting, just kind of, even if you feel like, well, I've got a mountain of things over to do there, but I'm just doing this little thing over there, that's better than being paralyzed by fear, being inert. That's not useful either. So don't be surprised if you're finding yourself slightly overwhelmed. It's surprising because we do have this Leo full moon in around this time, and you would perhaps assume that that would be really, really beneficial for Leo. But what it's probably doing is bringing to the surface, the moon obviously being the reflective part, the emotional part of us. It's bringing up, in some ways, not necessarily turbulence, but it's bringing in flux. It's bringing in uncertainty and doubt where there perhaps hadn't been. So the more that you're able to lean into the practical aspects of life, the less you're going to feel that sense of uncertainty and worry. What I also just quickly want to say in terms of the Chariot reverse, normally the Chariot is kind of fast moving and it's very fast paced. And there's a reminder and a suggestion for you this week, Leo, that if you want things to slow down, if they're feeling a little bit, I keep hearing the sounds of brakes, literally that screeching metal as we apply the brakes, and that's okay to do. This is what they're saying. They're saying if you're starting to feel things are running away with you, if they're feeling a little bit overwhelming, you just say, God, universe, Allah, whatever you want to use, please, can we just slow this down a little bit? I just need to catch my breath. I just need to get back to an even keel, and then I can move forward. And there's a real reassurance that that things will respond. You'll suddenly find that those 20 meetings you're meant to have tomorrow, 6 of them get cancelled, just so you've got a little bit more space, you've got a little bit more breathing room. You may also need to cultivate that for yourself if you are feeling as though so many different things are going on and I don't know where to pay my attention. Look at what you can delete, delegate, or delay. The 3 Ds are always useful. But I'm really pleased to see the Emperor here, because it's a reassurance of don't worry, you can get grounded, you can get settled. And interestingly enough, he is the sign of Aries. So even though he has this very grounded energy, he's still a fire sign. So it's an indication that both can be achieved. If you want to know more, be sure to check out your rising sign and your moon sign. It will help you navigate the week even better. If you're not sure how to do that, just check the pinned comment below, and there is a link on how to do that for free. And something that I am requesting for all the viewers is please hit subscribe, hit the notifications, like this video, comment. It takes a lot of energy and time to create these videos, which is great. I love doing them. I love reading the tarot and sharing the messages from the tarot. What really helps is knowing that it's making a difference, that people are responding. And of course, feel free to make any suggestions of what you'd like to see more of, what's working, what I can adjust, and I'd love to hear those. But until next time, have a fabulous week, and I shall see you next week. Bye for now.